What? You're over 40 and your knees are starting to hurt? Of course they are. First thing you got to do is get them checked out and make sure you're not damaging them. You don't want to damage them anymore. Easiest thing you can do, bubble wrap yourself, sit on a chair, do not move. Get your food delivered to you. But if you're here, that's probably not the answer that you're looking for. You got to work on your sleep and you've got to get down to your best weight. I'm trying to work on that myself on both those counts. After that though, you've got to work on strength training and you've got to work on flexibility. Your muscles are what stabilize all your joints. And if you can't flex your muscles, then they're gonna flex somewhere else, and that's when injuries happen. If you're ready to have your knees start feeling better, then let's feel better together. Today, we're working on knees and joints. Just gonna be quick. I just wanna keep on building up my muscle and working on my flexibility. Good. Or you can do this and just do nothing at all and be really, really careful. Actually, he's very active. So again, just to emphasize, if you have an injury, you've got to get it checked out. Do not make the injury worse. Do not try to push your way through. That is not going to help you. So, assuming that we're on our way to recovery, assuming that we're on our way to prevention, which is building up muscle and working on flexibility, I'm still not going to push too hard on my knees, and I'm going to favor them a little bit today. So let's just start at the top, standing. This is this mountain pose where your hands are facing forward, your shoulders are tucked behind your back a little bit. I always think like you're a part of a mountain or you're standing at the edge of a cliff, standing nice and straight. And as you breathe in, your body seems to get taller, and we're just going to clear out some of that stagnant air. So lift your arms up in through your nose and all the way out through your mouth. And in through your nose and all the way out through your mouth. Once more, in through your nose and all the way out through your mouth. Come back to a sort of a little normal state here. How does that make you feel? Does that start just give you a little bit of refresh? Now, while we're in this pose, I like to just get a little bit of movement out. You can sort of hit your body a little bit with your hands. You can just move your arms all around. And I find this is a good way to start right off the bat and see what, without being sort of violent with your body, start checking in. What's just sort of stopping you a little bit? Like for me, I can feel when I twist that way, my knee sort of says, whoa, careful. And I can feel my hip on the outside. That's not always the case, but I know that's the part that if you kept on going too hard, you could hurt yourself, because it would say like, I'm not going to let you go. And instead of bending, it's going to break. So just moving all around to begin with. Nobody can see you. Move your neck around side to side. Move your hips. And that will give you a whole bit of discovery on what your body's feeling like. Okay, so I can sort of categorize a little, I can tally a little bit. My knee, my hip. I can feel that my hips on both sides, my SIs sort of resist a little bit. And as always, my neck, probably because I'm on the computer and because I'm looking at phones and stuff. It's just bad habits. So come back to a little bit of stillness here. For the rest of this time, let's just breathe in and out through your nose. Nice, even, slow breaths. And we put our hands up to that prayer position. You don't have to pray, but it's just the perfect position for balance. Take a moment there. I usually have my wrists about the same height as my elbows, and I just sort of gently stay there. Now here I start working and thinking a little bit, engaging my muscles, not straining my muscles, engaging them. My kneecaps maybe lift a little tiny bit. My core, my pelvis just tips under a little bit. I'm sitting up tall. Interlace your hands. Take a deep breath in. And push your hands far away. Separate your shoulder blades as you breathe out. And then breathe in. Your hands above your head. Grab your right wrist with your left hand and pull yourself over to your left side. And just breathe into that and feel how your rib cage expands a little bit. And then inhale. Back to the top, maybe feel a little bit taller. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and pull over to the other side. And then actively pulling, I'm not straining, but I am actively pulling, and that's helping just open up that rib cage on the left side. And breathe into that, not straining. And one more big inhale in, back up to the top, and I'm a little bit taller already. Hands behind, interlace them the other way than before, and send your hands back and your chest forward, and your chin tilts up, and breathe into that. And that's opening up your chest a little bit. Now check in with where your feet are, which is what I've had to do. Make sure you're nice and stable. Because the next thing is we're just going to gently and slowly hinging at our hips. So maybe your butt sticks out a little bit. Your knees are easy. They're not locked in. And you're just going to bend down towards your knees. Let your arms fall over and let your body sort of settle to that. I find I sort of take a pause, let my body sort of readjust, and then I can sort of bend a little bit more, relaxed. Once I bend over, I'm going to check and see how much I can push my legs straight. Not hurting myself, but I can sort of feel that pull on my hamstrings in a nice way. And then hang ragdoll and breathe for a second. Now inhale, slowly let your hands fall. Maybe they're close to the ground, maybe they're flat on the ground. Doesn't really matter right now. Maybe they're nowhere near the ground. But stabilize yourself and see if you can fold even a little bit more. And if you want to try bending your legs a little bit, send your butt backwards. Maybe your legs straighten a bit. Now from here, I'm going to go down and see if you can go into a squat. Maybe you heard all my knees popping and cracking. I'm just taking it nice and easy. Triceps go inside your knees, especially if you want to have that extra help. Try to straighten up your back, and you can put a little pressure on your knees. That helps open up your hips and actually makes things a little bit easier. Again, you're focusing in on keeping your back straight. Maybe roll at your wrists here for a second. And it's about letting your body adjust. For me, this is an okay position for my knees. That's not where my knees are strained. But I'm still taking it easy. If you're feeling any strain, anything on your knees, then don't do it. And just breathe. Now, inhale. Put your hands in front of you, flat, stable. That's rolled onto your toes a little bit, and with the help of your hands stabilizing you, put your butt up into the air again, only to where your hands can stay flat on the ground. And once they get there, slowly roll all the way up. Keep going, your hands above your head, and then kick your hips out as far as is comfortable. You've got your front of your body engaged, and really try to make a good bow. And then inhale, you're back to that prayer position. You're balanced. Maybe you can feel your body balance more. Hands to the sky in a big inhale. And then as you exhale, sink back down. Nice and slow. Knees over your feet. Pop, 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 everything goes. And roll down onto your knees. Now, good time already if you've got a little folded blanket, maybe you've got some fancy pads. Just want to give yourself a little extra. You can put that under your knees. It's a great time for that. Onto your toes. I'm getting a good stretch in my toes. I'm going to sit there and keep my hips down on my heels. And to help that, with my hands in front, I'm just going to push back. And as I push back, I get a little bit more engagement on my toes. And just breathe into that stretch. Maybe it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's not uncomfortable. There's definitely no pain. I'm going to stay on your toes. And we're just going to go as far forward as we can to help our wrists. And we sort of go through on our breath. So inhale forward. Exhale slowly, push back, and a little extra push on our feet. Inhale as far forward as you can, no wrist pain. And all the way back. Now you get the back end there. Shake out your hands, stay on your toes, and we'll go into that a tabletop, but stay on your toes. So your wrists below your shoulders, your knees below your hips, and we'll do a little bit of cat-cow, but on the cat part where we push away, we're just going to try to take some of the weight off of our knees. If you want to push away so that you're a couple inches off the ground, that's great, but you can also just make your knees a little lighter. So as we inhale, you drop your belly all you can, your butt to the air, your head to the air, and then as you exhale, push away, tuck your tailbone, separate your shoulder blades, and when you get to the top, lift off your knees, or lighten your knees as much as you can, and just breathe into that, and you can feel your quads engaged on this. And then on your next inhale, your knees drop, your belly drops. And then exhale, again, right to the top, lift up your knees. And then inhale, belly drops. And then exhale, again, last time, lift off your knees, push your shoulder blades apart. And then inhale, down your back. Now you can keep your toes tucked or untucked. I'm going to untuck mine. I'm still on this, protecting my knees. And I'm just going to walk forward and do that puppy pose. Nice straight line from your elbows, your wrists to your elbows, to your shoulders, to your hips. And you're going to open up your back, your lower back, as much as you can as your forehead goes down to the ground. And as you inhale, as always, you want to sort of focus on the joints opening up. So maybe you can go a little straighter. Maybe your butt goes a little higher on each inhale. And then on each exhale, you relax. And then one more inhale. And as you exhale, you're onto your forearms and you're dragging your nose with your butt in the air to the end of the mat, into a Sphinx pose. Now, I've still got that blanket there because it feels right and it feels good. If it doesn't, take a second, remove it, and keep your butt flexed here. That's the key. And we're obviously bending the other way now. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. And keep breathing nice and slowly. If you need the extra stretch, you can push up. But I don't think I want that today because I'm sort of working on, I don't want to overstress any of my hips. I'm taking a nice, good relax here. Now, I'm going to inhale and do that half frog, 45-degree angle on your left arm, and bend your right leg. And where can you grab it? If you have a strap, you could put the strap around and your leg could be there. We're working on, this stretching on those quad muscles. Because when you stretch the muscles, you stretch the tendons, you stretch the ligaments and everything. Now, better you keep your form rather than make the stretch too big. So for me, I'm going to use my foot to pull me up out of my shoulder. And once I'm pulled up, my heel can go close towards my butt. And just breathe. And one more big inhale in. Let your right foot down. Your hands can go on top of your your forehead can go on top of your hands. Roll side to side a little bit. Left arm out. This is broken wing. Right leg bent. And push away. And so you'll feel a stretch certainly in your shoulder. You feel a stretch in that sort of twist in your back. But you want to see if you can push your knee away from you as much as you can. And that will start opening it up. And then relax. One more inhale in. And roll back onto your belly. Roll side to side a little bit just to make sure nothing's locked up. And then on the other side, right arm 45-degree angle, left leg bent. Either throw a strap around. There's no rush. If not, I'm using my foot by flexing it out to pull me up out of my right shoulder and then pull my knee back in. Easy place to injure yourself because there's a lot of leverage on things. So err to the side of not hurting yourself. And then just breathe. One last breath in. Let your foot go. Again, move your hips. Right arm out this time. Left leg bends. And one more big inhale in. And roll back onto your stomach. Rock your hips back and forward. Now, from here, usually I often go through a plank, but we're going to take it easy on our knees. Now, I've still got my blanket exactly where I want it to be. I'm going to push up into a child's pose. So I know that my feet are going to go close together, my big toes close together, and that my knees are going to go wide apart. And I'll use my hands tucked in beside, doing a push-up supported by your knees. Hands stay where they are. And then back into child's pose. And that's getting your hips onto your heels. You can either have your knees close together, or you can have them far apart or anywhere in between, and see what's protective of your knees. Look, I'm going to adjust, put my knees closer together. Still a little bit of room for my belly. My forehead go down, and my hands I'm actually going to put backwards, like behind me. Inhale. Push yourself up. Put your hands either where they were before. I'm going to move. Actually, no, I'm keeping them there because I'm still going to use it. I'm going to go tuck my toes, keep my hands where they were, and push up to downward dog, keeping my knees bent. And once I've got that straight line, I'm going to try, I'll go onto my toes and then try to send my heels back towards the mat, however much that looks like. And then I'm going to just find that sort of stillness here. Now, my next inhale, I'm going to put my right leg out. Maybe that's straight, maybe it's up high. And then I'm going to go up on my left foot, bring my knee up to my chest, sort of rounding my back. And this is something to be working on anyways, is stepping my foot through between my hands, and my knee goes down onto that handily done blanket right there, into a low lunge. Now, here's a few alignments that you want to have. You want to be able to see those first two toes from where you're standing. So your foot is just tilted in a little bit. It's nice and stable. You don't want your knee falling in. Your knee's nice and straight, and you want to bend into that. You could put blocks right there if that helps. Once you've got that alignment set up with your hips going forward, try putting your hands above your head and keep everything nice and active. As soon as I activate my hands, keeping them wide, I can activate my core. I can tuck my tailbone a little bit and just breathe onto that, and still every once in a while reminding myself to stretch my left hip. Now, big inhale in, my left arm goes forward, my right goes back, and I'm going to use my torso. I'm not sort of splaying my legs open. Keep my legs where they are and using my torso to twist with my arms out, which may mean you can't go all the way. Take another big inhale in. My left hand's going to go down by my foot, and my right hand, pulling like a bow, goes above. Maybe that's enough. Otherwise, I'm going to go up on my left foot and just stretch that. And a big inhale in. My hands inside my foot for a lizard lunge, which does put some strain on my knee. That's okay though. I'm still want to keep my foot and knee lined up. And if I want to bend it out, these two things stay even, but my hip sort of rotates out to open up my hip. Inhale, it goes back. Then your foot goes back as gracefully as not as you want into a plank and then back into downward dog. Let me tidy everything up again. Once you're tidy and stable, your left leg to the air this time. Nice and straight, feels different. Up on your right toe. Then your left knee to your chest. This one's the one that's harder for me. With arching my back, I want to step my foot through, and it doesn't go so far. Especially since some of the other things need to support, but that's okay. My right knee's down onto the blanket, and I'm just going to set myself up for success here again. You can see my first two toes. My hips are pointed in the right direction. I'm stretching down on this quad. My knee's protected. This is my challenging one. Once all that's okay, maybe I've got blocks here to stabilize. If you're ready, your hands above, activating everything. And then your right arm forward, your left arm back. Again, keeping this all the same, using your torso to twist, however far that is. Look at your dog on the couch. Then your next inhale, your right hand down, your left arm, pull that bow back to go to the air, and if you want to, lift off your right knee. And then inhale, exhale your hands inside your foot for lizard lunge. And keeping this alignment, just moving your hip, not your wrist, not your ankle. Maybe you want to let your knee fall out. Maybe you want to just stretch into that. Keep your back straight. And then your left foot back into a plank. And then your knees back down together. And can you sit on your knees? It's actually harder than you think. If you want to give yourself a little bit of help, I've got my knees on my blanket, and I'm going to put two cushions, and that takes off a whole bunch of stress on my knees. But it's still giving me a nice little stretch. And if I'm engaged, I'm actually still activating my muscles. Sit up nice and tall. Maybe close your eyes a little bit. Maybe tilt your head down just a little bit. Your eyes half open. And take a few breaths here. So hopefully that's worked on your strength. That's worked on your stretching. And let's feel better again tomorrow.
Whoa.